Alright, guys. We've got MAXPAX in the top right side of the map here for Storm. BYUN in the bottom left side. He's just cleared Clem out of this bracket with a very dominant performance there. Now, BYUN played pretty standard, like you would pre-patch, and Clem did not take advantage of the new gateway production at all. And in the way BYUN was playing, very standard, 3 barracks, couple tanks, bunch of bio, couple medevac push before third command center. Easy gateway production would have taken care of him in that series. But now we're into the upper bracket finals. And MAXPAX, one of the players who has dropped a lot, has dropped about 600 MMR on the ladder this season so far. We're going to see if he's going to, utilize those at all. Because MAXPAX famously is a guy who often will spend hundreds of games on a new patch trying to make the old build that he was doing work and really limit testing things to their extreme. Downside means he's usually one of the slower players to perform on a new patch. Upside is he will refine a style to an extreme level faster than most other players. And he will often break a meta and lead a meta in that regard, right? So we'll often see MAXPAX do things like figure out how one gate expand works in PvP, a build which people said was a bit of a kind of greedy gamble you could occasionally throw out. And he obviously made that a very viable and solid build order by perfecting the play over thousands of games and until a lot of players copied it and kind of learned how to do it from him. So we're going to see what happens. You're expecting Protoss to think, one of our live viewers has said. And that's my Australian Protoss brother in the chat. How you doing, mate? Making fun of himself. Bit tongue-in-cheek there, no doubt. Yeah, it's been interesting to see how slow Protoss players have been to use the Warp Gate thing. Because it is a mindset shift. I think we're so used to having Warp Gate and just being able to warp in defensively. But the thing is, in matchups where, if you think about Protoss's weaknesses, they haven't really changed. It's you kind of want to survive to a 3-base army, getting splash damage. In this matchup, it's often Colossus, getting your Forge upgrades in, getting 4 bases up, right? Against Zerg, it's kind of the same. Struggling to defend your 3rd from all-ins and get to a 4th base. These are the scary moments for Protoss, where often you get hit by a timing right as all your warp gates are transforming, and you just barely get overwhelmed. And if you instead just build out of 3 or 4 gateways in gateway form, you can produce so much more army, and using the savings of 600, sometimes 750 minerals you save by skipping 4 or 5 of these extra gateways, not to mention the warp gate transform cost. I'm not even factoring that in, which is 25 minerals and 25 gas per gateway. You actually just have more zealots, more stalkers out, and it's so easy to defend a lot of the old school Terran pushes. Fascinatingly though, we are seeing players very slow to adapt. Now, to be fair to my Protoss brethren out there, I have been struggling to do it as well. I've been losing a lot of my games figuring it out because the flow is different, the build orders are different. But I think the players who are focusing on learning that, the Skilluses, I saw Showtime in one game, swapped to gateway production for a few minutes when he was in a defensive stance in a PvP, are getting big advantages from it. And I think that practice might not immediately win you games, or always, because you're still learning things, but you're building really valuable experience. And we'll see if MAXPAX, I assume he's just going to play exactly like he did pre-patch, but we'll see. We'll see if he mixes it up. And I think MAXPAX, over the years, I've said he's very inflexible. He doesn't adapt for hundreds or thousands of games. He's been adapting a little faster. He's added a little bit more variety. It's kind of like watching Innovation develop over the years, where Innovation, now retired, famous Korean Terran player, always did the same build over and over, and people made fun of him because he was the least innovative player, but his name was Innovation. He became more innovative. He really would actually have a different build each map and rotate through, and added this whole range to his arsenal. Serral did the same thing when he developed through 2020, 2021. Serral became like a build order genius rather than a guy who was just a master of defensive late game. So I think MAXPAX, this is kind of the next step for him as a player. We'll see how he does it here. That's Adept Stalker pressure, using the Shade to get a bit of high ground vision. No bunker for BYUN. Yeah, he's going straight Warp Gate while being in a defensive stance. So no, that makes no sense. But that's just MAXPAX playing like he did pre-patch. So this is essentially nerfing yourself, because you got to pay 25 minerals, 25 gas per gateway, guys. It's unfortunate to see, but it is going to mean it's tough, I think, for MAXPAX against BYUN. Because you're playing, I mean, you could still win with this, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, there's a clear advantage you can get from this patch. And he's going to leave this one on the table. This is such a defensive build going for a 3rd. If you're getting aggressive with 3 gates and an early Prism, this makes sense. 4 gates, early Prism, makes sense. Fast 3rd base here? Nah. Inefficient play for MAXPAX. Got a few comments recently on the channel. Shout out to you guys. How dare you even pretend you think you're on the same level as these players? Stop talking like you know what they're thinking about, or how dare you criticize anything. I'm going to keep on criticizing as much as I want, guys. That's literally what I do. Oh, the Widow Mines! They do fire a little bit faster, and he does get 4 probes there. So that's what we call analysis, guys. So in a strategy game, I could just be Medivac flying, Stalker shooting laser, so Medivac flying. But no, I'm going to continue to analyze. Now, obviously, I am nowhere near these players. I cannot even scratch their backs in terms of skill. I am not even a freckle. I am a mole on their underside. You know, there's no way I can play this. But there's this thing, being a commentator, where I get to see the production tab and the entire map. And my job is to watch way more games than these guys watch. So there's this slight advantage I have in decision making, where I have map hacks in real time and a production tab, and I can see what both players are trying to do. So, you know, the criticism is not always spot on. If you guys ever disagree with anything, let me know. That's the fun thing in strategy games, is discussing what works, what doesn't, why. But oh my god, dude, he's missed the move out. Blink in is good, but is this going to do enough damage? BYUN's shoving in, and he doesn't see the attack move out. Well, I mean, he's got to know there's an attack coming now. But this is really scary because in comes the auto turret, but shield battery defends it. Nice defense. I mean, BYUN's kind of all in now. Charge is nowhere near ready, but if he can defend this, it's going to be massive. MAXPAX will lose 1 Stalker before the recall completes. He's got to pull back, get out of tank range. Does get out of tank range, but he loses the battery. That's still really good. The Raven's taking big damage. Those 3 Stalkers are hammering it. He's going to get the Raven. Getting the Raven is really nice for the follow-up. The tank Marine is running away, and MAXPAX, massive start to this game. The blink in was really dangerous. I thought if this push shoves, that would be really scary. But it didn't shove. Even if it did, it was so risky. But I think losing that many SCVs, I kind of feel like BYUN should have shoved in there, guys. Even if it's like kind of all in. I think as it is, he's going to wait. And in about 30 to 40 seconds, he's going to pull the boys and just go all in. Because he's in such a weird position now, economically. And he's just going to wait for shields +1 to be almost done. And I think he's going to pull the boys. He'll probably pull about 20 workers off the natural. And I think that's his best shot because he's lost so much mining time. He's lost 8 workers there for what? A Stalker. He's killed 1 observer with a scan. And he's got to get in before the Colossus is out. Robobay's halfway done. Shields. 40 seconds from finishing. Concussive shells have started. That only takes 40 seconds. +1's almost done. This is the go time. If he's going to pull the boys, now is the time. But it doesn't look like that's on his mind. BYUN kind of just going back to a more standard spot, but there's a 15 worker advantage. He's not pulled the boys, but he's not got a 3rd command center started either. He's left 2 tanks behind. He's moving out. Where are the boys? He's just going to build a 3rd command center. He's going to try and play a balanced game. Let's see if BYUN can pull this out. Oh, he gets a Stalker. Not bad. But charge is in. There's only 4 Zealots and 1 Immortal. Actually, the army's not that big for Protoss, but there's 8 Warp Gates. Oh my gosh, 8 Warp Gates. Okay. I mean, they're going to make 8 Zealots every 20 seconds, guys. So that's going to be pretty powerful. I guess it has been nerfed, actually. It's 22 seconds now for the Warp Gate. There's a very slight nerf on the Warp in speed as well, which I always forget to mention. Bio coming in. Dude, BYUN's got a scary army. The force fields are nice, but there's not many Zealots to deal with it. Only 1 Widow Mine fires there. Great positioning here. The Zealots aren't going to be able to flank, though, because the reinforcements might derp them. But no, oh, he does get a good flank. Great micro by MAXPAX, because he drags the Widow Mines onto the tanks, but one of the tanks survives. The Immortal's exposed. He desperately needs another Zealot warp in. He cannot afford to lose the Colossus and the Stalkers. The Stalkers all go down. Oh my lord, BYUN's still going to punch through. I can't believe it. BYUN, decisive as ever. And he's going to be able to overwhelm. Wow. +1 was even done here for MAXPAX as well, but he just wasn't able to sync up his engagements quite well enough. And BYUN there doesn't even pull the boys for that attack. His 3rd is incredibly late. He's going to be behind the longer this game goes, but he manages to get it. Let's go back and look at these fights, because it's not the result I was expecting. I was caught off guard by it. Obviously, a Zealot flank or counterattack earlier to cut off some of these reinforcements would have been nice here. The Stalker's kind of getting caught on that ledge was quite awkward, because he loses a Stalker and gives up all this ground without the Stalkers being able to pick at him. And then even here, he's not able to pick at him because of this sight blocker. So actually, This is kind of interesting. I haven't thought about this map, but Sanctuary here, guys. You've got a site blocker here, which BYUN's used to shield him from the Stalker harass. He used the high ground to shield him from Stalker harass. He's kind of got across the whole map without really bleeding any units out, which was really well done. And he was already holding this position with his bio tank after scanning the observer to kind of have a forward position. So he made it really hard for MAXPAX to like do the standard Stalkers blinking back and harassing him. Now let's go take a look at this fight. So obviously 8 gateways warping in. Maybe MAXPAX could have bought a bit more time here. It's kind of a bummer because like he gets some really good force fields, I feel like, on this first wave, but he's got nothing to capitalize on it. There's no zealots here to charge on top and surround these units, and the Colossus just isn't quite there. And this Colossus, I was saying he'd have to pull the SCVs to get here before the Colossus. Why is the Colossus not out? Was there downtime or a supply block that I've missed, or is just my timing sense off? Let's take a look. Because it feels like he's forgotten this Colossus production for a little bit. Let's take a look. It might only be 5 or 10 seconds. Let's check. Okay, so 7:54 is when the Robo Bay finished, and he starts the Colossus at about 8 minutes. Yeah, okay. But he doesn't chrono it straight away. And then he finally does 1 chrono. And chronos it a second time, but he only gets like 1/3 of the chrono duration before the Colossus pops. So he missed a bit of chrono time on the Colossus and about 6 seconds of build time, which is not crazy. So BYUN actually still found a really good timing here. If there's a Colossus out when those force fields land, I think this is a pretty different fight because he could really have roasted a lot of those Marines. Really interesting. So the first Widow Mine, it's good that that only gets spent on a single Zealot. I do like the Zealot flank, but yeah, he's still engaging pre-Colossus. You know what? In hindsight, guys, he should have just given his third up. He's just got to wait for... Without the Colossus here, he's just not quite ready to take this fight. And the fact is, the Widow Mines do pretty good hits on the Zealots. Even though they do a little bit of friendly fire, he only kills 1 tank. And he loses his whole... He should have just given up his third. If he loses the third, that is rough. But it is what it is. You can transfer to the other side. I think if he counterattacked with all of his Zealots, cleaned up the rally, forced BYUN to turtle at home, transfers his workers as the base goes down, tries to dance with his Stalkers and Immortals to buy a bit of time. So you try to save the third, but I think he kind of had to wait for the Colossus before he took this fight. Hindsight's 2020. I didn't even realize. I was like, I think he's got enough units, but I didn't realize that Colossus was just nowhere near done and didn't even have extended thermal lance in the way. He's also floating a fair bit of money here as well. I mean, he does the Zealot Sentry Warp in, starts another Colossus, and the money disappears. I don't know. Just felt like a really good timing for BYUN, and really lovely carry through. Overall, his efficiency off the charts, and he takes a game 1 where I thought he was in a really rough spot. All right, guys, going into game 2. An unfortunate loss there for MAXPAX. Just couldn't get those Colossus out quite on time. Let's see. What timing does he chrono, guys? Oh, just before 6 seconds. That might be too early. Does he get the 50 minerals? Oh, downtime on the Nexus. Yeah, normally 6.5 to 7 seconds is kind of optimal, I think, for that chrono. Kind of depends on your probe split a little bit as well. These probes seem to be moving a bit slower. Did I have that on a slower speed? I might have. Anyways, there we go. BYUN down here on this side, guys, trying to make sure his workers stay doubled up. Arston was pointing out, if you try to obsess over keeping the workers on the close patches, it's actually better, rather than doing that, to just speed mine on the far patches is more efficient than trying to force them to stay stacked up in the start. This is something a lot of players didn't realize. He did a little video pointing out how Cyril was obsessing over keeping the workers on the close patches, and that only made sense on a 12 worker start because there was less places for them to bounce to. So once you got them stacked up, they'd mostly stay there. But the problem that happens on this worker start is when you've only got 8 or 9 workers on the minerals, or even 10 or 11, there's so many free mineral patches, they'll go there, the other guy's still mining the patch, and they'll go, oh, and they'll go, well, this isn't free. They'll scan all the minerals, they go, oh, there's a free patch over there, and they'll go to the other mineral patch. So it's actually more worthwhile just to do a few shift-click speed mines and just let them mine from the further patches, sometimes even without shift-clicking, than it is to try and sit there wrestling with your workers over trying to keep them on those close patches. And it can actually lose you a fair bit of mining as well if you struggle with them bouncing around like that. Barracks gas opening for BYUN, guys. I think he's going to be doing that, yeah, 5 seconds idle on the barracks before starting the Reaper. 13 barracks, 14 gas. And that's, of course, to get this early orbital. So we should be canceling this SCV and making the orbital. I still think this opening sucks, by the way, guys. I know people have said this is optimal. I just think it's better to build one more SCV and make the orbital a little bit later. I could be totally wrong on that. Maybe the orbital and the mule dropping immediately is just so worth it. It just feels so weird to me to have not only a few seconds idle on the barracks when you're going Reaper, but also a few seconds idle on the command center where you're not building SCVs. To me, that feels weird. Maybe they've crunched the numbers. I don't really know if they have, the Pro Terrans, but we'll see how it goes. Marine comes out, no factory just yet. He's not pulled off gas at all, guys. So this is a 1-Rex expand, and he is going reactor, but he's delayed the reactor a long time there. Interesting. And now he's going to go for that second depot. The Marine checking for proxies. I really think he should pull one of these workers off gas, guys. I don't think there's a reason to have so much gas. You see, he's way ahead of the 100 for the factory. And it does feel like this opening could use a little bit of work. And this is so weird. And I think for a lot of the viewers, you're probably kind of getting whiplash. You're going, what the hell is Pig doing? Like, normally he backseats one or two little incremental things in the early game, but like, it's constantly criticizing these players. I think it's because everyone's builds suck. Mine are much worse than these. If I was watching my own replays, I'd be pointing out like 50 different things I could do better. I think everyone's not figured out the builds. Like they're still a work in progress. You know what I mean? We're still just kind of chilling. 2 adepts do come out here. Twilight Council into a Stalker. MAXPAX hasn't chronoprobes on his natural just yet. Wouldn't be surprised if he does that in a moment. There we go. He's busy microing his adept, getting a bit of free damage on BYUN's Marines there. Second gateway on the front. Very familiar format from MAXPAX here to what we're used to seeing. Oh, he's got to be careful. BYUN gets some really good damage. I mean, I think it's kind of good to trade with the Adepts here, though, because later on, once Stim finishes, they do kind of suck. But you don't want to just give them away for free, because then a Marine Cyclone tank push could become very, very scary. Blink's on the way. We are going to see Warp Gates transforming immediately, of course. I have no expectation of MAXPAX playing a gateway style. Depot goes up in the main, perfectly timed, 37 out of 42, just 5 supply before getting blocked. Really clean opening. Now, do you guys think Raven or Banshee? We haven't seen, like, the single cloakless Banshee really at all today. Depot goes up on the front. Marines are there. Stalker and Adept, though. Oh, BYUN not microing. Hello, loses a Marine. A little sloppy there, but the Cyclone comes out. He can lock onto the Stalker. BYUN, go, go, go. Oh, he locks onto an Adept. Much lower value target. He should really be chasing. That Cyclone can get on top, man. Gets rid of both of those. If he gets rid of the Stalker as well, she's going to get a good amount of damage. And MAXPAX, a bit slow to recall, but he should be able to save it just barely. Ooh, gets it out. Nice save for MAXPAX. Reddit point Stalker, though, 2 Adepts down. And he's going up to 3 Warp Gates here, Robo, and a 3rd gas. MAXPAX build orders unchanged from pre-patch. It's going to be Cloaked Banshee, not just the Cloakless Banshee this time. Second barracks goes down. Does MAXPAX know about this? He's got no vision in the main, no sentry. Prism and Stalkers will come across, but the first Banshee will already be moving out, going across the map. Moving it through the middle, a little dangerous. Could get scouted, but gets away with it. That 3rd Nexus, of course, going to be going down momentarily here for MAXPAX. So remember, this style of MAXPAX, it's exactly the same as pre-patch, except obviously the 8 worker start means he gets a bit of a boost because he's got a chrono at the start, but he's also had to spend 75 mineral, 75 gas to transform these 3 gateways, and slightly slower warp-ins for Zealots. It's 22 seconds per Zealot. Used to be 20 seconds you could do a warp gate warp-in. I don't know if the Stalker timing has changed. If you guys know, fact check me in the comments. Maybe someone can look that one up in the live chat. Can't remember that one off the top of my head. So many changes to pass here. And oh no, the classic MAXPAX response. Sorry guys, by the way, I got the scoreboard accidentally flipped there at some point. MAXPAX is so known for leaving Stalkers and an Observer in his base, and Banshees are famously bad against MAXPAX. So maybe not the best build choice here for BYUN. Second Banshee gets caught, has to turn around and go home before the Observer arrives, but that's a big shutdown. And MAXPAX, he's got his 3rd coming up. He's got Charge on the way. Forge coming in this time, so he's going to be playing a bit more of a delay on the Colossus, a bit more of a Zealot Stalker. Add 2 sentries and an Immortal usually. And BYUN, classic 3 barracks push. 2 tanks at the main, 1 on the natural, so 3 siege tank bio push. with Stim just started, Shields just started, Medivacs will be queuing soon, and of course, a very delayed third command center. This is exactly the scenario where regular gateway production would excel against the style that BYUN's playing. And it's kind of crazy to see both Clem and MAXPAX 2 series in a row with Protoss players who are not utilizing the things that hard counter this style, which is staying on just 3 or 4 gateways and producing out of regular gateways. Especially if you're playing a delayed Colossus style with charge and upgrades before RoboBay, as they love to do. Very defensive stance for Protoss. Leaving money on the table. Best way to describe this. But I'll stop harping on about it until they actually adapt, because otherwise I'll feel like a broken record. Zealot drop on the left side. I like the mix-up there, going for the natural rather than the main, knowing there's a Cyclone in the main. It's got to be careful, because right now there is a big pack of Marines there. But yeah, they'll move forwards. Unsieging the tanks. 4th and 5th barracks as well as 3rd commands are on the way. He's going to be going forwards. He's going to be moving on out. Stalkers are on the front as well. They're just going to see this. It's only 4-5 Stalkers. Prism ready to go, and he's going to wait for him to get a bit further out. MAXPAX first Colossus just now begun. No extended thermal lance for him. He's got 8 warp gates. They are going to be warping in, but notice he has so few actual units, and this is the exact timing where he's in a dangerous spot. The Marines shut down the Prism. Oh no, MAXPAX loses his Prism. Oh me, oh my. Looks like he did pick off a Marauder with the Stalkers though. Very well done. Have any Stalkers died this game? Looks like 1 Stalker's died. Zealot gets cleaned up there as well. BYUN's whole army wasting a bit of time, and that might be a problem because that Colossus, if it gets out, it's a game changer. And these warp gates might have time to pay off. He's up to 12 Zealots, 8 Stalkers, 1 Immortal, 1 Sentry. Tanks very exposed on the front. The Banshee sees those Zealots getting ready for the flank. I feel like BYUN should push the natural, because he knows those Zealots are down there. He's going to get jumped on. He's got to be careful. He knows those Zealots are down there. He saw them with the Banshee, but he's not shepherding for... He's forgotten. I don't think he remembered that he saw that. We'll see. The Colossus there doing nicely. Those Zealots thinking about coming in from the south. Here comes the Bio. He's going to try and defend the tanks. The tanks will shoot the Colossus. He accidentally loaded up a Medivac. Colossus does go down. The Immortal taking a lot of damage. Can he get rid of the Immortal? If he can get rid of the Immortal, that'll be a big snipe. And the Immortal just barely survives. Banshee turns around. It goes down to the Stalkers and the Observer. And that is a hold so far for MAXPAX, but he's down 1,000 resources. 3rd command center is landed. Equal worker count. Upgrades are even right now with +1 armor on the way for Terran. It's not on the way for Protoss. But only 1 Colossus died. There's 1 out. 2nd one building. Stalkers. Ooh, skirmishing in the middle. That's Stim. Hard to heal from, but BYUN pushing forwards. His Widow Mines trying to burrow on the front line. Those Zealots are going to get hammered by those Widow Mines, but I think BYUN needs to pull back. He is heavily overstimmed right now. He's going to try and continue to go for... He's trying to lure the Colossus into the open, but MAXPAX doing a great job of moving in and out and kind of baiting these Marauders into overcommitting. It's a bit of disarray, a bit of a disorganized attack pattern here, but he gets the Nexus kill, which is big. Zealots on the other side, though, doing pretty big damage. Those Marauders should be inside that bunker. Finally, one gets inside. BYUN has to go home, and the problem for BYUN right now, guys, he has no Vikings. 2nd Colossus has just popped out. Not only that, +2 attacks on the way. Medivac's getting jumped on. He's going to lose 1 or 2 of these on the way home. Oh my, loses 1. 2nd one almost goes down as well. He's got to heal up. Does BYUN. Also got pulled off his 3rd for a long time by that Zealot run by another Zealot attack coming in. Only 2 Vikings. Once that 2nd Colossus arrives, it feels like there's a tech advantage for MAXPAX. Oh, he's going to break the rocks, which is actually really cute. Interrupts that Colossus rally. These Zealots run in from this side. There's still a bunker with an orange hit point Marauder on that left side. Kind of hard to attack into a bunker. Lots of Zealots over here. Really hard to deal with. I like the way MAXPAX is moving in and out, trying to bait Stims. And you can see this Bio army. It's not healed up. He has to build Vikings non-stop, does BYUN. But his army's not healed. And a Ghost gets caught rallying out. MAXPAX. He's rebuilding his 4th Nexus now. Zealots coming in. MAXPAX really microing so well. Another Stim gets used here. SCVs have to get pulled into the fight. The Vikings come down, but look at the Stalker positioning. The Stalkers blink left. They focus down most of these Vikings on the rally. And there's only a few Marines and SCVs on the right. They're getting rinsed. MAXPAX ties up the series 1-1. All right, guys, going into the next one. MAXPAX in the top left, BYUN in the bottom right. Let's see, did he get the probe timing better? Oh, still a slight bit. He's still chronoing just half a second too early. It's honestly not that big of a difference. It doesn't really matter, but just a slight moment where his chrono boost isn't able to work on that 2nd probe. We've got SCVs pumping. BYUN already sending an SCV forwards, which is quite early. 11 depot. So he's going to be doing that 13 barracks. So he's enjoying that quicker orbital command center. I wonder if someone's crunched the numbers on this. Getting that orbital out one supply earlier. It cuts SCV production on the command center for about 4 seconds to do so, which is what it's that combined with the barracks idling for a long time, it to me feels like a bit of a dodgy opening. I do wonder if one rack's gasless expand is a decent build order again, adding like 2 gases after the barracks or something like that. But to me, it feels like probably just going for barracks gas and then just delaying your second gas a little bit is maybe a bit more efficient. I do think, though, BYUN should be pulling 1 worker off gas. Remember, your first 2 workers mine about 60-something gas a minute. The third worker only mines, is it just below 40 gas per minute, I believe? Because I think it's like, I think 2 workers mines like 120-something gas per minute. You put the third worker on, and it's only up to 160 gas per minute. So it's not as efficient. It spends a bit more time waiting with that third worker. Dr. Dark Knight in chat says, dude, I just did my own test on Protoss. I had 8 gateways in regular gateway form. I had a bunch of saved up chronos in late game. And with those 8 gateways, I could make 48 supply in less than 30 seconds. Friggin' insane. Yeah, I mean, it's not super normal to be chronoing gateways. So I think it's not a realistic test. But yeah, if you chrono the gateways as well, in gateway form, they build units insanely fast. It's crazy, especially with units like the sentries that are so underused that they've massively reduced the build time on it. If you chrono sentries, they build in next to no time. It's wild. I think it's 12 seconds down to like, basically I think they build as fast as probes sentries out of regular gateways now. Once warp gate's finished, because they not on this patch, because the one we're casting here is of course still 40% boost once warp gate's finished, but it's 50% on the new patch that's just come out. Oh, he's pulled off gas this time. Oh, I much prefer this build order, guys. I guess because he wanted to squeeze the bunker in because he doesn't have a ramp on this natural. So he kind of goes, I forgot to get a bunker. I need to pull off gas a little bit, then put back in. I mean, he's going 3 command center, so okay. Yeah, super economic play for BYUN. 4-gate blink can be a problem for this. But I don't think this is the hardest map to defend it on. Pretty clearly just want to build a line of buildings here. Put a tank or 2 behind it, and you should be okay. But a lot of room to cover, right? Where the Stalker drop can come around that top side. Good dead space below the main as well. So they can dance around with the Prism and be quite annoying. It's Adept Stalker, Blink, and a second gateway. Lots of chronos on probes, and Blink for MAXPAX. Second barracks is now building. He wants to build a third barracks, but BYUN does not have the money for that, so he's got to just rally to his natural. There we go. Cuts SCV production to actually build the third barracks. I think that's a mistake. I think he should be non-stop building SCVs and dropping mules here. He doesn't drop the mule on the natural because he knows Adepts could shade in and maybe snipe it, so he's just being very careful, dropping mules in the main for now. Pretty tight build order. I mean, if you delay your second and third barracks too long, stim and shields are just so late. It's incredibly awkward. So it was like, what, 3-4 seconds of no SCV production? It's not the end of the world. Orbital needs to come up. Nicely done. And those 2 tech labs will be going down. Already this reactor's been pumping very well. Intercepts the Adept, gets some damage there. He's on 11 Marines. Oh, and MAXPAX is going to 4-gate blink. 4-gate blink, you do have to lose 100 minerals and 100 gas with the modern 4-gate blink. So this should be hard for him to get damage, especially against a Terran who's already building Marauders. Because BYUN knows he doesn't have tanks, Blink Stalkers are always a problem point. If you just start building Marauders earlier than normal, it means if those Stalkers blink in, you've got Marauders with Stim waiting for them, they can have a really hard time. Now, to be fair, usually the first blink in timing hits just before Stim is done, at least on 12 worker patch. We'll see if that's the same here on 8 workers. Usually there's a very narrow window for the Protoss to do damage. And if they miss that window, they don't do damage, they're miles behind because the 3 command center and just the immense amount of bio is a problem. The other way you can counter this as Protoss is obviously just play economically, but go for Colossus Sentry early. The factory is so delayed with this style, there's still no factory. He's only going Engineering Bay now. That your Colossus Sentry, they don't have an answer with Mass Marine Marauder unless they can surround you in the open field. Third Nexus goes down. There's a lot of minerals floating here for MAXPAX, but of course that's because he's about to warp in 4 Stalkers on the front. He's only got 9 Stalkers out, and he's left a bunch at home. Oh, he's playing so safe. He has no idea this is a 3 command center. This is a very light pressure. He's not going to find much damage. MAXPAX playing super scaredy cat, and now he realizes, oh god, I am behind in this game. He's going to bring all of his Stalkers forward and look for damage. But the stim timing is now going to kick in. Stim and shields is here. There's 6 Marauders with stim. The Marines have shields. Like, there's no fear anymore. So yeah, you can pick off an SCV or 2, delay a depot. It's kind of annoying, but it's not going to find the damage that I think MAXPAX really needs. And with no Forge, no Robo Bay just yet, like he needs to get a move on. He's committing even more to the Stalkers. Ooh, he's going to get the bunker. The Marauders are out of position. They're a bit too far north. And these units will move down here. The bunker does go down. You've got to be wary. BYUN finally stims, realizing MAXPAX is pretty committed here. He's got to chase him back. Prism's going down. Prism's going to go down if he's not careful. He turns to fight to defend the Prism. The Bio's going to stim a second time. A very risky call, but I think it's a good idea to push the Protoss back. It's just if your stims run out and you're trapped on the Protoss side of the map, that's where things get bad. So you got to force him to blink away, and that's when you turn to run. The MAXPAX can now pursue you and kind of harry you. He can pick off your units on the retreat. You got to be careful, man. Stalkers are basically those bloody Mongolians, man. It's the Golden Horde, you know? They always go into a fake retreat, and then they turn and surround you and hit you from all sides. You can't break formation to chase those Mongolian Stalkers. Stalkers getting a few Marine and Marauder pickoffs. Desperately needing medevacs. The first 2 medevacs only halfway done. 5 worker advantage here for Protoss, but Forge has just started, and it's pure Stalker into charge. He's not got a lot of tech, so the Terran army is higher quality, but the Terran army needs a lot of healing, and he does not have that healing just yet. His first 2 medevacs just popped out. They're just chilling, and remember, they only spawn with 50 energy. Got to bring these medevacs to the front. MAXPAX trying to take advantage of this dearth of healing right now. Forge almost finished. RoboBay finally starts here. 4th gas goes down as well as a 4th Nexus. MAXPAX has got good map control, and there's part of me that feels like he's getting through the scary part of the game. You got to realize that BYUN, as many units as he's losing here, it's not like the trading is that negative. And he's just got so many Marauders and Marines that if he can at any point force a pitch battle with this army, Marine Marauder will come out way ahead, especially with that upgrade advantage. He thought MAXPAX was going to target the medevac, so he pulled it back. A few Marines go down, but so does a Stalker, and units lost tab is very close to even. And oh, a missed rally for MAXPAX, or a mispathing, I should say. This is another Stalker, and another one. Every Stalker is sacred. Oh no, another one goes down. Oh. 500 resource lost advantage now in the Terran favor. Single Zealot runs into the 3rd. Zealot drop goes in on the right side. Remember, that Prism is very damaged. He should just pick up and leave. Good micro on the Prism. He sees that BYUN's not pulling everything to the front. He's like, okay, fine, we chill. Colossus on the way. +1. Extended Thermal Lance also on the way. Zealot drop comes in, drops the Zealot. Sees the armies there, though, and he backs off. Stalkers come in. They grab a Widow Mine. They grab a Marine, and they blink away. He's playing this so well. The Observer going down, though, very necessary. BYUN could tell by the way MAXPAX was moving that he clearly had information on his unit location. He's like, how is he always coming in when I'm just slightly out of position? The Zealots are in the mineral line. The Bio stims, though. Oh, no. He missed his force field. The Immortal, the Sentry. A bunch of Stalkers go down. Yes, the Zealots in the natural and 3rd, but those are getting cleaned up. The SCVs on the high ground, they can kind of pull away here, use the high ground units to try and defend this. Prism goes into the main base, but there's a Viking there. That Prism's heavily damaged. He can unload the Zealots and then try to recall, but I think that Prism's dead either way. So Viking does get microed after it. Nice move by BYUN. He's going to lose a lot of SCVs, but at the same time, the counterattack is over here. And that Colossus is looking naked. It's got almost no support. The Marauders could maybe just click on it. Now that the Zealots are here, maybe not. BYUN does get the Nexus, but he loses a lot of units in the process. He's going to go forwards, try to go drop inside the main base. He realizes, maybe not the best call. Let's pull to the right side. He lost a lot of workers, and you'd think, wow, he's way behind on economy. No, he's not. He's on 67 workers. It's 3 base versus 3 base. BYUN, okay, luckily for him, only loses a medevac with 1 Marauder inside. That was incredibly risky. He should be unloading these, but I guess he wants to get to the other side of these rocks first. Second starport on the way. There's 5 barracks here. 2 reactors, 3 tech labs. Stalkers come down, snag a Viking. MAXPAX so annoying with his Stalkers, but yeah, that's great. Every moment, though, you're not watching, and they get stimmed on, 6-7 Stalkers go down almost instantly, and they cost so much money. A Marauder does get cleaned up there, but for 5 Zealots, obviously an amazing trade for Terran, who's now almost 3,000 resources ahead in the units lost and has double upgrades on the way. 2-2 ship weapons, Ghost Academy coming in, 5 barracks pumping. BYUN is in the lead. MAXPAX struggling to spend his money right now. He's on 10 gateways, but I mean, these are just +1 Zealots and Stalkers he's making. They're not exactly the most amazing units. His 4th Nexus is almost back up, but he's got to be more consistent on his Warpins, I feel like, MAXPAX. He's floating a fair bit. Archons could be good here in the next minute, but after that minute, we're going to see Ghosts coming out, and that'll be a real problem for any Archon addition. With no Templar Archives, that window is probably going to be gone. Marauder's getting cleaned up by the Colossus Stalker Zealot. The army's so damaged for BYUN that looked pretty good for MAXPAX, trading evenly over the last 30 seconds to a minute. The number of times I've shown a unit's loss tab and I've said, oh yeah, he's traded evenly over the last bit. And people go, that's not even. And I go, yeah, they traded evenly over the last like 2 minutes. And they're like, but that's not even. That's 3,000 difference. And I'm like, and what was the difference 2 minutes ago? They're like 3,000. So that's not different. And I'm like, oh my lord. It's moments like those. I go, I don't know how to explain this. Is this what a school teacher feels like when they're trying to teach how to add numbers together? I don't know, man. 4th Command Center is almost finished here. We've got the Colossus almost done there. 2nd Robo's on the way as well. Or Prism with a few Zealots on the far right side of the map. 5th base coming up is pretty smooth. 5 base versus 3 base. But MAXPAX without any disruptors yet. He's only got his first one building. 2nd Forge now making. He needs to buy a few minutes. I think big Zealot counters are a great idea. But look at the way BYUN split his arm. He's got a big force on defense duty. He's also got 2 turrets here. You can get past it, but the Prism's going to be very heavily damaged. Zealots to unload there. You can see these guys stimming up from the 3rd base. Zealots aren't really going to find much economic damage. They're just going to clean up a turret or so. Prism should go down to the Vikings. I mean, the fact that MAXPAX is getting forward on the map is amazing, but he needs to realize that the Colossus stage of this game is gone and dead. Like, he needs to basically just be non-stop chronoing disruptors. And this is one of the biggest problems Protoss players have when they're behind is they still believe the Colossus is going to be good. And the moment those Vikings start shooting them, these Colossus are going to disappear instantly. So you've got to really make sure you have the next step. And I think he's doing a good job of actually focusing on that. I love the Zealot movement over here as well. The way the Colossus are kind of shooting and fading away. He's kind of splitting BYUN's army up. The Stalkers could go for these Vikings. Colossus probably need to just turn tail and run, though. They are not going to live here for long. They pick up a few Marines and Marauders. Stalkers take out some of the Vikings. He's going to lose all of his Colossus. Or maybe not. Pretty good pullbacks. I think if the Colossus pulled back just a little bit earlier, he's killed almost all the Vikings. So he can go back to Colossus production now after these 2. Let's see if he does that, guys. His Robos are now producing more Disruptors. But he could go back into Colossus, and he saved 2 deep in the red. Very fragile, but very few Vikings on the map to deal with him. Stalker's trying to blink north. Units lost tab. Let's check in on that. It's 3,400. So yeah, MAXPAX has done a good job over the last few minutes of making this way closer on the trading. And he's kind of... I feel like BYUN had a moment with 2-2 where he probably could have pushed and maybe won the game, but MAXPAX has kind of kept splitting the Zealots up. Zealots aren't as good into a big frontal fight, right? Where there's a giant bio ball, the Zealots just kind of wash up on it. But if your Zealots can be attacking where the Terran's not ready, hitting the mineral lines, hitting them in small areas all over the map, it's very hard for the Terran to stutter step perfectly, and that's where they really excel. 6th base on the way, 7th base, actually. Wow. Ghost count's only 4. Remember, these ghosts are 3 supply. MP's still very good. Yeah, this is the power of a guy like MAXPAX. MAXPAX and Clem, their ability to get forwards on the map in an inferior position and make the opponent feel like they have to stay defensive. It's really good. He slips by the real danger point in this match. He's back to 3 Colossus against just 2 Vikings. He's got the Disruptors bullying a little bit as well. And look at this. It's hard to get this base on the right. There's a Zealot there. Very well played here. And MAXPAX will go into Dark Templar. It's still a fragile position. The next fight, probably game deciding. And these 3-3 upgrades for BYUN are going to be a huge power spike. So that's the next scary point for MAXPAX. But the Zealots find some Marauders on the right. The army runs in on the left. Oh, he gets jumped on. BYUN goes for a crazy engagement there, but I think crazy in a good way. Very good engagement. Catches the Colossus, broadsides them. The Zealots overwhelm the right side and find a lot of SCVs and deny the planetary. If I'm MAXPAX, I'm happy with that trade, guys. I know it feels awkward. The units lost looks kind of bad there, but I don't know. I feel like killing the workers, making the game messy is good for him because he's got so many gateways to reproduce, but he's not quite into DTs just yet. If he had 8 DTs, 10 DTs to blink in and kill this planetary right now, I think it's like it's going to skew way in his favor, but as it is, mass command centers are coming up. Disruptors getting dodged on both sides here. Oh, they're not quite able to connect these disruptor shots. They're almost all whiffing. Really nice play. Viking on top of the prism, so he can't pick up the disruptors to cover them either. Oh, MAXPAX just gets caught from 2 sides again, and these speedy zones are so good for the Terran to jump on top of the disruptors. The Stalker Zealot's trying to fight, man, but he needs the disruptors to land. He gets a few ghosts there. Nicely done. Disruptors landing on ghosts is much better this patch. No more 125 hit point ghosts, but this base going down, and what a brutal turn that was, where BYUN was so good at just sandwiching this army. And you just see, when you're not getting hammered by storms and disruptor shots, how good that Terran army can be. The Zealots here coming in from one side, Stalkers from the other. Disruptors gonna force the pickups. A bunch of units do get taken out, but he's gonna pick up, save what he can, go towards the main base. He's already done good economic damage, 10 probes and a Nexus. If MAXPAX rebuilds that Nexus and eventually shuts this drop down, he'll be good. Unfortunately, no Stargate. If he could build a Void Ray, that would be amazing. He's recalled to the high ground. That means the low ground is actually very vulnerable. There's a lot of Stalkers there, my gosh. Oh my lord, the Stalkers here with some Zealot warp-ins. Oh my gosh, they're actually getting beaten by the Marauders. Oh god, he dropped on top and killed it because there was no Zealots on the low ground until the warp-in finished. Oh, huge trade for BYUN. BYUN just made an absolutely criminal getaway because the Zealots weren't warped in, so the bio, as it unloaded, they were automatically targeting the Stalkers because they were a threat. The warping and Zealots weren't. Landed an EMP as well, and those Stalkers just got absolutely smashed. I dare not look at the units lost tab, but I must. Oh, 9,000. Well, more like 8,300 in favor of BYUN. BYUN's also got 6 orbitals. He's got 6 bases. This is looking all over now. Unless MAXPAX can make some magic happen, he's in a pretty screwed position. Zealots, it's a good run by, but the Lib will eventually clean it up, and I think BYUN can afford these losses. He can keep replacing his SCVs. Fight in the middle happens. Bit of a chaotic engagement. Bunch of units go down on either side. Libs do not have Lib range, but Caduceus Reactor's now done for the Medivacs, and that doubles their energy regen rate. You can see the Medivac energy is very, very fast to regen. It's actually a huge upgrade in late game. And with those 8 Medivacs, this bio will have pretty much endless healing. The Marauder Marine Lib coming forward, forcing a fight, I think is a really good move for BYUN right now. He knows if his opponent's attacking into Libs and pre-spread bio, the Marine Marauder is going to trade pretty well, especially with 3-3 against 3-2. Beautiful play there by BYUN, and he does close out the series 2-1.